everything. Got to be kaku. Ali Celeste handles my situation, all my pains and my troubles. Steady light in my candle, job. Part of the struggle, no one. Sun, sunshine, everything. Sunshine, everything. Kilo boy, look at it, happiness. I didn't come.
Ọlọ́ládé mi Àṣàkẹ́.
Ọmọ yìí kò kakú, ó fẹ́ ló bí Dangote, ó ní láti jagun. Ìgbádùn ayé pọ̀ lẹ́yìn ìpọ́njú. Má bẹ̀rù rọ̀jú. Inú òun lè wá kú, tí gbé bá kú. No dey form say you jaju, try to dey kaku. Ali Celeste handles my situation, all my pains and my troubles. Steady light in my candle, chop up with part of the struggle. No one. Sun, sunshine, everything. Sun, sunshine, everything. Kilo boy, look at it, happiness on the way, oh my God. Light up my fire, loloke. Mr. Money, me on my load, shake. One man shake. Don't tell we I don't see them. I be the over me, no be like I do it. That was okay, I mean that was shit. Eyes on me, I know.
Okay, hello everyone. Good evening, good evening, good evening. Happy New Year. I mean, it's sweet to say Happy New Year because it's been a long time been here. So we were having a series in June conversations with Packet Expressions, and along the line I fell sick, so I wasn't able to complete the session. But we are back again for the final round, which is 30 raw truths you need to know as a writer. Now, when we started this program, we started by having conversations around topics that matters to us or topics that we see that is important to us. We started with sex and orgasm and discussed about the adolescents, what adolescents feel about sex and how they react. Went on into chapter. Went into um Yeah, sorry about that. Sorry about that. Need two little network glitches. So I said today we are going to be discussing about 30 raw truths you need to know as a writer. With the most recent um, introduction of Thread that was created by Mark Zuckerberg. Now writers have more opportunities to write and post things and publish things, but more importantly, to post about books. And I have here in the studio with me Gracious Paul Swago and Angel Gabriel. So both of them, including myself, will be discussing the 30 raw truths you need to know as a writer. When I mean raw truth, we are not talking about truth that is going to sweet you. The bitter part of writing that people don't really talk about, especially when it comes to Amazon. What they just tell everybody now is that go and publish your book on Amazon, go and post on Amazon, but they will not tell you the rigors people go through before you can even make your first sale on Amazon. So I'll be bringing on board with me Gracious Paul. Gracious Paul is the author of Judy's series, The Truth About Tuesday. It's an award-winning book that has reached a lot of countries, especially Africa, and he has had reviews, especially from South Africa. And he's currently writing on that project. But before then, let me first bring him on board to speak to us on about things regarding writing. Ladies and gentlemen, make welcome with me to the studio, Gracious Paul Oswago, the author of Truth About Tuesday. Sorry, did I pronounce that correctly?
Yes, you pronounce that correct.
Okay, that's so nice. How are you doing today?
I'm fine. I'm fine. Welcome to the studio, Majidi
Yeah,
Expressions.
yeah. Thank you very
Yes.
much. And it's nice seeing you. Uh, um, see get okay. Are you back here?
Yes. I'm back.
Okay. All
So
right.
today we're
So
discussing.
first, I want to ask, what is yes, what is writing like for you?
Well, for me, it's different because for me, I started writing right from when I was young, at 12. So it's became more like something I cannot live without doing. Became more like an obsession, or more like something that you have to keep on doing, and that's how you survive because you have to keep on doing it. Like it's more like if you don't write, your life is boring. So for me, writing is something that I love doing, and
Mhm.
I see myself keep on doing that because I have this innate, crazy passion for it. Yes.
Okay, so how was it like coming about? How many books have you written?
So far, I've written a lot of books. Like I said, I started writing books at 12. I remember I wrote my first book at the age of 12, and it was like a
Okay.
very 80-page book that I had to handwrite myself. But I didn't publish anything. I just basically was waiting for the right time to publish my books. So I kept on writing and writing and writing. It was more like I was training myself for something. And then I decided to publish the series, and that was it. And but for now, I think I have like two books online. But the series is
Okay.
like my first massively published book.
So what was the experience like writing it?
The series was. It took me some time to write the series actually. It was more like navigating, and I wrote it at the dark time. I started writing the series when during COVID-19, and I
Okay.
didn't really know like where the story was going to. I just started writing the story during COVID-19, and then I was waiting for something to happen. So when NSAS protest came up, I just knew this was the right time. So yeah, this series was really an important story for me to write. It was a story about NTERs, about fundamental human rights being denied, about Nigerian military and Nigerian soldiers and Nigerian government shooting its own innocent citizens. So for me, that was a very important story for me to write because what I do as a writer is that I take the real events and I write them into fiction. So yeah,
Okay.
that's what I do.
Now you said something that you started writing as since the age of 12. Now, at
Yeah,
what point in your writing did you become intentional about it?
I was been intentional about my writing. Yeah, I remember then when I was growing up, you know, I wanted to publish my first book, and I met my mother. My mother was like, "Yeah, okay, let's come publish your book." And then she gave me like 5,000 naira, and I took further
Wow.
as the publisher. And when I went there to the publisher was just telling me like, "What am I going to do with this money and everything?" Yeah, actually, I ended up losing that work because Nigeria plagiarism issues and the rest of that. But
Mm.
I think it gave me like what I wanted. It gave me like a long view of what I wanted with myself and where I wanted myself to be. So when I graduated from university and after during COVID-19, I just decided, yeah, I do want to, publish books. I do want to speak out. I do want people to hear me. I do want
Mm.
people to know this is what I do and this is what happens. This is stories. You have to read the stories. The stories are very important. So yeah, I became very intentional about my books in 2020, and since then I started working towards that. In 2022, I published first one, and the next one I'm publishing very soon. And it's crazy to think because I wrote this book in 3 months, and it's crazy to think about it that way.
Okay. And if yeah, so what has been your greatest support system as a writer? Because many times as writers, one interesting thing about writing is that sometimes writers find it difficult coming to the front, especially like video like this, coming live or all this kind of thing. So they prefer just being in the background, just writing their things. In fact, sometimes it feels like writers don't really have friends. They are maybe just a bone, so it is their thoughts that they're just writing out and all this kind of thing. So what has been a support system so far in this writing field?
I guess my support system, like I said, is the fact that writing has become something I cannot live without. It has become like an oxygen draining me. It's become like water that you need to drink. It's become like food that you need to eat. It's become a basic, normal thing that I have to do to survive. It's more like I can't be myself without writing. So it's more like something I derive passion doing. And anytime I don't write, I see myself beclouded in this kind of, emotions and roller coasters that I cannot run away from. So it's more like for me, it's more like a way of letting my emotions out. It's more like for me, it's more like a way of shouting too. It's more like a way of screaming out my angst. It's more like a way of screaming out what I want to scream out. So writing is a very important instrument to me. And then I've also had like my sister who's been very supportive of writing from day one. She's been like, yeah, you're a good writer. And when you go back to the crowd and when you go back to the public and you're like, you get your work there and people are like, wow, this is very amazing. This is very good. You just want to keep writing because you know that you're going to hit that big bar one day. So you just have to keep writing.
Now, in terms of social media, when did social media become obvious to you in the world of writing? I mean, for me, I remember back then when I was writing, it was just with biro and paper. I was using one small phone then, Nokia 2626. So, and Opera Mini was was the major platform in which people browse and so I was always writing with Opera Mini, and sometimes when we are writing and trying to post online, sometimes you might have written for like 20 minutes and network will just vanish and all what you have been writing will just disappear. You now have to start writing all over again. So that's one of the experiences I've had in with social media. So for you, when did social media become obvious to you in your writing journey?
Well, I think the most mistakes most writers make is to not utilize the power of social media. Social media has become so powerful and it's becoming like a very, really powerful instrument for everybody to use. And if you don't use it, that means you're very, very not interested in writing. For instance, I started using social media like a long time ago, but
Okay.
like it was more like free sharing, free stories, nothing much in the environment. But then when I started writing these stories, I started sharing on social media, my experiences and everything. And when I launched my first book, the series, I can say that I launched on WhatsApp. I launched my whole
Wow.
book on WhatsApp, my first book on WhatsApp,
Wow.
and the day I launched it on WhatsApp, I was able to make like a lot of money that day. So, but my point is that I didn't think of it that way. I thought of 2022. I was thinking of going to publish my book, and I
Now,
was
2020,
thinking,
that was last year.
yeah, I was thinking, how much am I going to, spend when I'm doing my book launch? Who's going to come to my book launch? I moved to Port Harcourt recently, so I didn't really have a lot of friends in Port Harcourt. And my friends were different places, Abia, Imo, abroad, and the rest. of them. So I was thinking, no, this physical book launch. So doing a virtual launch helped me a lot to monetize my writing last year. And it's something that I think people should utilize also. Social media is very important. So the time I came to realizing of social media was actually during when I was writing this series. Yeah, that was when I became more aware of social media and the power it holds. It holds quite a lot of power.
So I also have in the studio with me sure that it is um, void of errors and it is professional enough and all that. And that's one of the things Angel Gabriel does. So I'm going to bring him on board now to join us in this conversation as we shuffle between book writing, book editing, and the journey of writer so far. He's also a writer. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome to the studio the handsome Angel Gabriel. How are you doing today? Can can you hear me? Hello, Angel Gabriel. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes, I can hear you. But my
Okay,
network is really
okay.
giving me tonight.
Oh,
I just want
the
to be
network is bad, right?
starting and starting.
Oh, so sorry about that. So sorry about that. I myself have been having challenge. I guess it's because of the weather. But I hope the weather is just affecting only the
I
network, it's
guess
not affecting your body.
well, what can we do? It's been raining all day.
Okay.
It rains. The
Now
morning is still
I've
about
been
2 p.m.
speaking with Paul. You know, Paul is a writer
Okay.
just like yourself, and he has published the book Judy series, The Truth About Tuesday. It's a book on fiction, and we've been discussing. Sorry, can you hear me? You can hear me, right?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. So I wanted to know what is your background into writing and what has been your experience so far in the writing field?
Are you talking about me?
Well, okay.
No, Angel Gabriel.
Okay.
Yes, can you hear me, please?
Yes, we can hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yes,
Okay.
I can hear you. We can hear you.
Yes. Uh, well, even the first speaker speaking, that's gracious as well. He said he started writing at the age of 12. That's pretty impressive. But for me, I think started writing started writing. That should be in my senior class in secondary school.
Okay.
Just those 1 page, 2 page articles and stories and all of that. Back in secondary school, and well, from there we graduated into what was raining at the time, which was poems. You know,
Okay,
especially
yes,
those.
poems. Yes.
Uh, well, it's been good. Still do it till now. But well, unfortunately, I've not published any books. Though there are a few manuscripts which would definitely get out there very soon.
Okay,
Yeah.
what can you say about the relationship between writers and graphic designers when it comes to book publishing?
I can't hear you. I can't hear you. I didn't get that. The
Okay,
relationship between
yeah, I said that what can
what?
you say as the relationship between writers and graphic designers when it comes to book publishing?
I, I still didn't get it. Sorry. Network is really
Oh,
bad.
sorry.
I still didn't get you, please.
Okay, let me see if I
Relationship
can
between
post it. Writers and graphic designers when it comes to book publishing. Let me see if I can post it on the screen.
okay.
Okay. Relationship. Okay, so I said that the relationship between writers and graphic designers when it comes to book publishing.
Oh, okay. Um, I think the first thing that we need to point out is that one of the mistakes that authors make, whether you're an author of books or just online articles like that, and you need, of course, for some capture for some copies of online articles, you need graphic designers to, capture the whole philosophy or the essence of the article in a design so that you can post along with it. Like, for instance, Instagram. Instagram is you have to use both picture and text. Now, I think one
Yes.
of the biggest mistakes that authors make is to make the graphic designer the last point of call.
Hmm.
You understand? To make the graphic designer the last point of call. Now, the graphic designer is not supposed to be the last person that you go to when the whole article is ready. Okay,
Okay.
the graphic designer is somebody that you need to plan with from the beginning.
Okay.
Okay, the journey of the entire article has to involve the graphics designer because graphics is not just about, most of the time what people see is the production itself, is the outcome of the design, but then a lot of things has gone into it. Okay, um, the concept, the sourcing for materials, and in terms of pictures, and thinking of what to do. So um, being able to align everything, all the elements of the design with the article is not something that the graphics designer should come up with by himself. It's something that both the graphics designer and the author should work together, think
Work together.
to achieve. All right. But at the end of the day, most authors do is, oh, I have this article and it is about this, about that, it's about this, and I need something. No, it shouldn't be like that. As a matter of fact, the graphics designer should not design until he has completely by himself read the book or the entire article. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying there. All right. Okay. Let me give an instance. For example, there was
Yes.
a friend of mine
Yeah,
who
I
did a
get.
book cover. He did a book cover for a book that was about 12 chapters, over close to 200 pages, and you know the author just told him the concept of the book, what the purpose of the book was, what he was wanted to achieve with the book and all of that. But my guy requested for the book that he wants. Now, most of the time, people are very skeptical about releasing their work before it's published. You know. But then, well, in good faith, the guy released it to him. What he eventually used for the cover of the book was not in chapter one or even the last chapter. It was just a line in, I think, chapter 5 or 6 of the book. And at the end of the day, even the the author and the publisher of the book themselves, they were really, really impressed with it. Now, so the job of the graphics designer is to be able to get into the mind of the author and read between the line and pick out
Okay.
something. So in order for that to be possible, both of them have to be, their both their physical and mental work has to be in sync. All right. So
Okay.
most of the time, as an author, your graphic designer has to be your friend. I don't know if you get what I'm saying. It's not somebody you just come up with. I have a project and all of. Person has to be, your friend. One of the reasons that art book and covers, book covers and whatever flyers and all of that gets rejected most of the time is because the graphics designer does not know the client. All right, because if you know the client, you already know the kind of person the client is. I don't know if you're following me. You know the kind of person the client is. You know the direction that he is thinking, whatever direction that because you're already friends with that person. So the person just needs to, oh, this is what I'm doing, and then I think you mentioned something like this. Why don't we drink this and this and this and this together? At the end of the day, both of them know each other, and then the flow of the job is much more seamless.
Okay.
You get?
Yeah. Now, I wanted to ask also. Sorry, I'm coming.
Yeah, I
Now,
actually,
how?
can I say something?
Okay. Yes. Okay. Yeah. Because I wanted to ask you, Paul, but I saw that you are away. So, because I've been following your
Okay.
work so far, especially this most recent one, Ekumeku, and I saw that you sent it out to two
Yes.
different graphic designers to get the book cover done.
Yes.
And I even had when you asked for contributions, I made a suggestion about that. Now, what was the relationship like between you and the designers? What, like, maybe what did you
Okay.
tell them?
It's
What were you looking for?
I agree with Gabriel. Your designer
Yes.
should be your friend, and it's very, very important. And why I agree with him is simple because when you're working on a book, it's a project, and you need a team. A team is like people who believe in your project, people who like your project, people who want to be interested in your project. Do you understand? Now, not all people will be in your team. Not all graphic designers will be in your team. Not all
Yes.
understand the passion you have. Not all understand the story you want to portray. So you need those in your team. And the graphic design, like he said, is very important. And the worst part about all these things is that you need a graphic designer for like the big things. But as a writer, there are key things, there are key tools you can use these days to design, not your cover actually, but more like things you send out online, things that make your readers to be spooked up. Like Canva, there's a lot of incidences, there's a lot of things you can use to design because um most mistakes most writers make is simple. You just bring out your book and you just bring it out one day. Hello, I published my book today. Everyone's going to say congratulations to you. Congrats, 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 congrats. That's all. Because you didn't make them an offer. But the work of graphics in a very particular point of thing is to make offers, to give people different offers, to show them that this is what you're doing and this is how you intend to monetize it. But when you post it online and people just look at it, they will look at it, it's like you're not interested in your work. So yeah, you say the truth. You should have a very important graphic designer who is in your team of your team and somebody who understands your project. It's very important.
Now, another interesting thing that people do make about writing is that there's this natural belief that because you're a writer, you should also be a graphic designer, you should also be a book editor, you should also like know to what extent is it true and to what extent is it false.
Like it's very false.
Let me start with you, Paul. Yeah.
Okay. It's very false. You don't need to know everything. You don't need to be master of everything. But you can know a little bit of it.
Okay.
I didn't design my graphics, my book cover myself. I gave it out to people to design. But at some point in time, with Canva is very simple to learn. because I can't book my graphic designer for every single design I want to make. I may want to make a design about my character, and I want to make a design about my character and what he's going to say. I don't need my graphic designer to do that for me. I can go to Canva and do that. But for the big works, I can actually contract my graphic designer because I don't expect him to always be awake and the night, and then I'm just trying to think of a particular thing or some idea, and I call him up. That's not going to work that way. So you need a little bit of knowledge of everything. Yeah, you need to edit your work very properly before you send it out to a proper editor. Like you need to edit your work, at least let the basic language be good, let the English be very good before you give it out to editor. And these days there are very important pro writing aids. We have Grammarly, we have Hemingway. These apps, these interesting websites are very good. You use them, you edit your work, and it turns out very fantastic. Before you now send it out to your proper editor, which makes your work very important and very good. Your commas, your full stops, every single thing. Like there's a particular balance I've been writing prose, and the balance is this: nobody knows where to put the comma. Literally, nobody knows where to put the comma. So, so the commas are very, very tricky sentences, very tricky on along lines that you need to learn. So, like I said, there are things that you need to do as a writer, and those things are what you need to embrace. Technologies that you need to embrace, pro writing aid, Canva, designing, etc. And then when you're done, you have your own team, your graphic designer, your book formatter, your book format, the person formatting your book, your editor, they're all in your team. You send it out to them. You get their feedback, you get their professional feedback. But there are things you don't really need professionals to do. Thank you.
Okay. Now, Angel Gabriel, what is the bane of editing a work? You know, firstly, we naturally know of grammatical errors, but what essentially is one of the banes of book editors when it comes to editing the work, especially maybe amongst friends, they'll just say, please help me edit this thing. I've written this thing. What are the banes of book editors?
Well, okay. I think for me, right? Paul just mentioned one of them, which is as an author, before you get your work out there, do the basic editing yourself. Okay. Grammar, spellings may not be 100%, all right? But then, there was a job I did. I think that was the last year. Yeah, very early last year, and God, every time I still remember, and it was a referral. Okay, every time I remember, I feel, the headache I felt I had at that time. That headache still sometimes just comes back like that. The kind of work that you did that, yeah, just paracetamol every time, because at a point you have to start second guessing yourself, like, I be going money, that kind of. I don't know if Paul understands what I'm saying.
I don't understand it.
Is it the same English? Like, is it the same English? Like, for instance, my wife also does. She writes and she edits. She was just telling me about a publisher that gives storybooks for primary school students. All right. Okay. And about the publisher just gave gave my wife a particular story. She did it. We looked at it together, and it was perfect. Once she sent it, she reviewed and accepted it at once. So one other person that the publisher gave to, now when the publisher saw it, he couldn't go past chapter 1. Something that was writing chapter 8 was supposed to be up to chapter 8 or chapter 9. They couldn't get through chapter 1.
Wow.
So he had to, he didn't even know that it was that bad. When my wife got it, my wife was like, this thing has to be totally, not edited, you have to totally rewrite. Totally rewrite, because she was telling me that, it's a storybook. The author started with the first person, plural, in chapter 1. In chapter 3, the person switched to the third person, plural. And I was like, wow, who does that? So that's one of the pains that editors go through while editing people's book, and one of the things that authors need to know is that you need to dictate your flow from the beginning of the book. Right? You need to dictate your flow from the beginning of the book and let it flow through all the way from the first chapter to the last chapter. If there's going to be a switch in between, let it be conscious. Let it be a conscious switch, so that such that the reader is also aware that there's a switch. You get what I'm saying? That there's a switch.
Yes.
Not that it just comes, and even the reader at the end of the day is shocked that why did I waste so much time?
Okay, now, Paul. One thing people always talk about, again, with writing is writer's block. As a person, sometimes I don't believe in it. Sometimes I accept that it exists. But what can you say about writer's block? Has it happened to you? And how do you get out of it?
Writer's block does exist, actually. I think it's a time in a writer when you cannot coordinate your ideas. You have those ideas coming, but you don't know how to write them down. And it happens. It happens to even the best of writers, Stephen King and the rest of them. But one of the things that helps you to cope through writer's block is to just keep on writing. Like, it's a secret I learned, and it's more like you just have to keep on writing. Like, writer's block is you being scared. You're afraid that your work is not that good. And because of that, you have this disparity between who you are writing, what you're writing, and what's going on. So it's because of fear, the fear that you have in your mind that, oh my God, this work will not be accepted at the publishing house. Oh my God, this work is not that good. You're just scared. You're fidgeting out. So just keep on writing. And when you're done writing, you can now edit. You can edit, and edit what you need and what you don't need. Or you can take a random walk. You can do something random. You can drink coffee. You can drink tea. Whatever you want to do. Just go out. Go out there. Have fun. You're not killing yourself because you're writing. You're just writing a book. So you just have to take your time out. Take your process out. Writing is about process. It's about the time you spend. Everything happens with the time. So you don't need to literally write everything at once. You don't need to do 15,000 words every day. No. So it's more about you being afraid and doing what you want to do. So just keep on writing. But if you have a very bad instance of writer's block, you can take a very large amount of break. Yeah, it helps a lot.
Okay. Now, Angel Gabriel, the early 2010, the early
Can I quickly say
2010.
something?
Okay, you can.
Yes, on that writer's block, I think Paul just hit the nail on the head right there. And thing is, everything a writer writes is relevant. It might not be relevant to what's on the table at that point. It may not be relevant to what you are writing at that point, but everything a writer writes is relevant. Write it, keep it for future reference. 2, 3 days, 1 year, 3 years, 5 years from now, you might need it. But one thing is the fear, like you said, fear, because what you're writing, you're not writing for yourself, you're writing for out there. So it is the fear of acceptance. Is this good enough? Is this right? Is this too much of it? Is what causes the writer's block. Nothing more. But like I said, when it gets that your pen is no longer moving, it feels like the ink has become sticky. That's when you should take a break. Take a break. Relax. All right, relax. That's just it.
Okay. So I wanted to ask that on social media like Facebook, especially there was a time. Now I don't know how the writing industry on Facebook has changed, especially with the way Mark Zuckerberg really banned people. But back then, between 2009 and 2015, there were Facebook writers, people who are always writing, whether they were consistent or not. How and what I want to ask is that how was it like for you? Because I know that you are also part of those who are always writing on Facebook then. How was it like for you? How were you consistent? Were you actually consistent, or you just come online to write and post when you feel like and you go back, this kind of thing? So how was it like for you?
Yeah, okay, that's good memories. But back then, 20 2011, there was this very good tool, very important tool that was on Facebook then, Notes. I don't know if you remember Notes,
Yes, I
because
remember.
people were at that time,
Facebook notes
people at that
that
time, a
you
lot of
write
people were
and
using
yes, that's
Facebook
what you
Notes.
use in writing there.
Yes, that was majorly what a lot of us turned to. Reason was because then engagement was not really, it was not the 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 aim
Mm-hmm.
at that time, but then it was still some. We didn't know that it was engagement at that time. Let me just put it that way. But it was still something that some of us were looking forward to. At that time, if you post something too long on your thread, I mean, on your Facebook page at that time, hey, people won't read. They will just scroll past it. But something of 3, 4, 5 lines, back 2010, 11, 12, like that. Something of 2, 3, 4, 5 lines. Yeah, they read. But then those who are diligent or studious, they are the ones that go through your notes. You write a note and you publish it, and then they they go there and they read. But fortunately or unfortunately, notes became, should I say, obsolete. People were no longer using notes because Facebook could now take more um, more characters. Facebook in itself could now take much more characters, and people were turning to reading stuff on Facebook and all of that. But one of the things that discouraged me from actually posting on Facebook is plagiarism. A lot of people, they copy what you posted on Facebook, and then you are seeing it somewhere in one magazine. You're seeing it, and
Mm-hmm.
this is your original work, and then it's
Yes.
already published in one magazine, and you see somebody's name, Nketia Joshua. How come?
Uh,
So, so I just, so that's one of the reasons I just started out. Well, let me get my notes. I write my stuff down, and then keep piling them up. And, that's one of the things. Was Well, there was consistency, but it was just no longer on Facebook. Right.
okay. Now, when it comes to writing, just like every other profession, there is always a talk of mentorship and all that. To what extent do we make use of mentors in our writing journey? Paul, let's start with you. To what extent do we
Okay.
make use of mentors?
I think at the point of writing, it gets to a point where a writer has to decide if you want to monetize your writing or you want to write because you just want to write. So there's a big difference between you as a writer writing just because you want to write and you as a writer
Okay.
monetizing your writing. Monetizing
Okay.
writing means that if you're a fiction writer, you decide, yeah, I want to publish my books and I want my books out there. I want them to be used in different places. That is where you have to get mentorship. For instance, there
Okay.
are things I've learned over time with experience that I would have learned easily with a mentor. A mentor who would have put me through, would have told me this is what goes on, this is how it happens. This is what you have to write commercially to sell. This is what you have to write in this particular point in time. So it's not just about being talented, because most times it's not just you can have talent, but you still need those mentorship, those ideas to help you to know exactly what you need to do to break through. So the place of mentorship in writing is very important. It is very sacrosanct. In fact, I must say that. But it doesn't mean that you don't have a mentor, you cannot write. I never had a mentor. But like I told you, I started early writing, so I don't know about other people. So right now, some people come to me and they'll tell me, "Will you mentor me? Will you mentor me in writing? Will you do this for me? Will you do that?" And I'm like, okay, but it's things I've learned through experience. Your mentor is somebody who has gone through that experience, who has learned those things that you need to learn. And like I said, it really cuts you a lot of time. if you have a mentor who has done that thing before, who has gone there before, it really cuts you a lot of time.
Okay. Now, Angel Gabriel, have you ever felt cold feet, or like you are not good enough when it comes to writing?
Yes, I think at one point or the other, I think each and every one of us must have had that feeling. You know, like,
Okay.
Paul mentioned it, and I mentioned it that when you asked the question about writer's block,
Okay.
uh,
Yeah.
that's like I said, that's the major thing. You One of the reasons that people don't want to get their work out there is because you have written this, all right? You wrote it yourself, and you think it's good enough. But then you give it to somebody for a second opinion and say, oh, I don't think this will fly. I don't think this will fly. That will definitely, in one way or the other, deflate whatever morale, whatever level of morale that you have. It will deflate it,
Yes.
kind of. All right. And
Yes.
then to write another one, you now have to be very, very careful. Like, not knowing that, what you wrote the other time was perfect. Maybe you just needed one or two different touches here and there, you know, compress some paragraphs, switch to the grammar in one way or the other, and then you have a perfect book. But because one person's opinion has rubbished it, like take for instance, in Foursquare, you know, um, you know, you grew up in Foursquare too. I grew up in Foursquare,
Yes. Yes.
so there was this. A long time ago, it was I Crusaders, not teams. So I
Yes.
was I
Yes.
Crusaders president for some time, and then I wrote. We were planning to publish a magazine at the zonal level, and I submitted an article. Okay, I submitted an article, and one of the reviewers, who was I think the zonal youth president at that time, wrote on what I because when they brought my article back to me, and he said verbose.
Wow.
Ah,
Wow.
and I just that was a long time ago. I think maybe I was still in secondary school. Maybe I just finished secondary school, and for subsequent articles, when they say submit your articles and all of that, I didn't even bother. All right, but when I'm actually going is the same article that he wrote verbose on. I submitted it. I gave it to somebody actually. I didn't I was not the only one. Somebody needed an article to submit for one other teenage magazine like that, and I gave it to the person, and the person showed it to somebody, and I said, "Oh, this is good. We just need to correct
Wow.
this." Edited it,
Wow. Wow.
and the thank God the person that I gave it was a very good friend of mine, and both our names were now used as co-authors. But this is exactly where I'm going. Because one person's
Yeah.
opinion, all right, was negative, does not mean that the worldview of you is negative. So the code fit it is for everybody, both young and old, both professionals and upcoming. It is for everybody. But the people who actually get the prize are the people who warm up their feet by walking themselves. Okay.
I must say you're very correct. Like he said, it's very important that you know that. But I think there's one particular point in time that writers should understand also, which is it's not every single thing you write that somebody would like. That's very important. Like Stephen King is a very popular writer, but there are still people who don't like his writing. They feel like he's too overly descriptive. He's, he doesn't do it well, like the way they want it to do it. So it doesn't matter how good you are as a writer, you're going to have like people who come up with opinion and they're going to be like, this is not good enough for us. And you're going to be faced with those kind of people.
Of course.
So that's, as you said, as a writer, you have to brace up, but you have to be able to accept criticism also, because it helps you to grow.
Good.
But you have to be able to brace up and know that not every audience would like your kind of writing. So you have to find your audience. You have to find those you speak to, those you appeal to, and that's a very important thing you have to do.
Now,
Yes, exactly.
interestingly, when I was writing expressions too, when when I was writing
Can't hear you.
Network is quite bad.
expressions too, not just that. Wait, you can't. Oh, wow.
Okay, we can hear you now.
Okay. You can hear you now, so please
I
repeat what you said earlier.
Yeah, what I was saying was that I had issue
The network is really bad.
Yeah, very, very bad. Sorry about that.
Okay, while we're waiting for him to get back,
Yeah.
I think it's ready to come back.
Yeah.
Okay, so like Paul said, I think the most important thing is for you to know that not everybody will accept you. All right, and you need to be okay with that. If you're a writer, not everybody. You're not
when
writing for everybody. Okay,
I think
you
of
just need to
something and
find
I
your
want to tell
niche,
some the person
find your audience.
writing.
Okay, so
Yeah. All right. So that's it. You need to. I've been writing for many years, and I think at a point in time, I had to decide that this is what I wanted to do because I just couldn't not do it. So, but I figured out that I have to first of all find my audience first and appeal to them first, and that is where like we normally say 30 truths about writing that you need to know is that you need to know that you're not going to find it easy out there. It's going to be difficult at first, like very difficult at first for you because you have to build your audience first. You have to build your portfolio. You have to build your books and everything else that you have to build. It's not just building your books anymore. You have to build yourself as a person and who you are, your brand. And this is things that will take a lot of time to do. You have to build your people. You have to get your people who are going to repost your work out there. You have to run a lot of things. But social media has made these things easier for us these days. But you have to
easy,
do
yeah.
the work. Like there's a lot of work to do as a writer. So you have to do the work. If you want to really benefit, you have to do the work. And that's the work you need to do.
So as a writer, as an upcoming
Okay, I
writer,
think it's back.
what you need to do is keep exploring.
This network is really doing me shaggy. But as well.
The check is back.
I mean, to the extent
Okay, so
that I'm using
Oh my
to
god.
I'm using two different networks and still it's I don't even know. I don't even know what is going on. But anyway, I know we'll soon round up.
I think the weather is a
Maybe
contributing
next
factor to this.
10
Yeah, the weather contributes a lot.
10 minutes, 8 to 10 minutes. So, sorry, can you still hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yes. Yeah, fine. Come on again.
Okay, Pais out. I want to say something. So somebody recently came to me and told me she wants to open an Amazon KDP account, and she was asking me that she was told to pay 20,000 naira. Please, KDP accounts are free. I wanted to point that out because there are things that you should know in KDP, and those things are that when you create a KDP account, which is very free, if you want to get your book out there in KDP, you have to plan your funds and you have to run a lot of ads. It's going to help you a lot. So I felt like sharing that, and I felt like that might be helpful to some of you to know that you can open a KDP account. If your book is well formatted and well written, you can publish it online again, and it's going to help a lot in the process.
If your book is well formatted and well written, you can publish it online again, and it's going to help a lot in the process. If your book is well formatted and well written, you can publish it online again.
Yes, please. That's very important. You know that something that you can do yourself is not something that you need to contract out to anybody.
Yeah.
You can do it yourself. Just get on the website, do the registration. Then the most important part of it is not opening the KDP. The most important part of it is formatting your book properly, because Amazon is very strict with formats. Very, very strict. So you need your books to be well formatted before they can even accept it. Otherwise, you just be doing back and forth with them. Just get the right sizes, do your book, do your formatting in the correct sizes that you want. There's a list. You get the list on your website once you're ready to upload your book there. So you get it. Then get the right format done before you even approach the website. Let me put it that way. Otherwise, you will sweat. I'm telling you, you will really sweat. But it's something that is simple once you get it. The format's right.
Yeah.
Very simple.
I think he's back.
I think Pagidi is back.
Pagidi, can you hear us? Oh my god.
The host is now a guest.
No, that is really crazy. I swear, he will cost himself today.
Wow.
You can see his face. The guy is really, really faced with anger right now.
See, it is well. It is well. I mean, I'm going to tell Benga. So I don't know what I'll do, but it's well. Anyway, as a round up, please, Paul, share with us about your new project that you are writing on. That is the Rising Sun. Share that with us as we're reading the second stage of writing. Just share that with our audience as we.
Okay, so thank you very much for this opportunity. I'm writing a new project, Ekumeku, the Rising Sun. Ekumeku, the Rising. Most of our guys ask me, how do you pronounce your book? It's pronounced Ekumeku, the Rising Sun. So it's like an Igbo history fiction. Yeah, it's an Igbo history fiction about Nigerian colonialism. Yes, Ekumeku, the Rising Sun. So it's about an Igbo history about colonialism and how the Igbos were able to fight off colonial masters. Because in the south here, there was a lot of revolutions against colonial masters and the rest of them. So yeah, I've been working on that book for quite some time now. 3 months. It took me 3 months to write down the words, and I wrote down, I guess, 90,000 words in 3 months while I was also working. So yeah, I had to take a very deep stress. Like I had to tell myself that every day I'll write 2,000 words, and I was able to get that done for most of the days, and it helped a lot. So as a writer, I think it told me something too. Integrity, discipline. You have to discipline yourself as a writer. You have to tell yourself, yeah, I need to get this done, and you can get it done, because I was doing 2K words every single day. But right now I'm in editing format, and you see, even though I'm done with my work, I'm not bringing it out yet because I want to get the best of it. So as a writer, you have to spend your time, edit your work. If it takes you 2 months, edit it. There's no rush anywhere. Edit it, properly edit it. Edit, read through until you know you're satisfied with your work, and then you can bring it out. So yeah. So I'm guessing the pre-order will come up on July 19th. The novel is going to be released around September, October.
Okay. Wow, that's so interesting. So on the final note, Angel Gabriel, because we're already seeing that we're already experiencing lunar eclipse. Is it lunar eclipse or eclipse in your own area? So, what advice can you give to upcoming writers? And you're good, bro.
I didn't get
Can you
you.
hear me, please?
The network was
Okay,
breaking.
I said that.
I didn't
What?
hear what you said.
Oh, yeah.
I
I
can
said
hear
that.
you.
What advice can you give to upcoming writers? What or aspiring writers or people that are even actually writing and need additional word of encouragement?
Well, okay. Um, I'm just going to say the same thing I advise somebody to do in the course of this week that we just exhausted. Learn storytelling.
Mm,
That's it.
mm.
Learn storytelling.
Lens.
Learn storytelling. Learn
Mm,
storytelling. See, anything without a story right now, anything without a story is deemed boring. Now, the generation that we are into now, the only way you can engage them, all right? No, not the only way. One of the best ways to engage them is to include storytelling in everything that you do. Even marketing now is now about storytelling. Whatever you do, if you're going to, except just want to be a melancholic writer, you just want to be a serious writer, serious writer. But if you want to really monetize your books and get the best out of them, learn storytelling. Learn it. It's very important. All right.
Thank you very much.
And yes, and one other thing I think Paul mentioned it is marketing. Right? Marketing. Ah, learn marketing. Right? Learn marketing. Whatever you do, whether you're an accountant, whether you're a lawyer, whether you're whatever you do, also learn marketing. Learn marketing. I've forgotten the title of this book. Maybe it's "Don't Accept Midway" or something. Don't. It's about marketing. I have it. I can send it by Gidi later. Or let's just read it. Learn at least learn marketing. Learn not just the basics, but get into it. Because one of the things that the way the world is going right now is that Facebook wants to collect money from you. Instagram wants to collect money from you.
Okay, yeah. Thank God, finally.
We lost the other guy. Okay.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, please, before the network takes me back again, what's your final word of encouragement to upcoming writers? That's Paul.
Well, like Angel Gabriel said, he said learn marketing, learn storytelling. They're very important. But I think what made me what helped me in writing is reading. I started reading right from I read voraciously. I read every single thing I saw. Those days when you go to toilet, you stand in the toilet, your mother will stand knocking on the door, come out of there, and you're reading inside the toilet, and you're reading magazines and you're reading newspapers. So I guess it helped me a lot to learn how to coin words, make up sentences easily, learn word flow right from when I was young, and it helped a lot. So if you want to write or you want your child to write, I think you need to teach them how to have a very good reading habit. It's going to help them a lot in the long run. And then, like you said, learn marketing because as a writer, you're going to have to face the hurdles of marketing. I am sorry to say this, my dear, but seriously, you have to face the hurdle of marketing. Though you're going to carry your book on your head like this, like a woman.
I said,
Buy my book, buy my book. That's the only way you're going to sell your book because you can't sell your book when you keep quiet. You have to sound your bell. You have to carry your book on your head. It's going to be your pride. People only buy what they give value to. So you as an author, you don't give value to your book. People won't buy it. Yeah, I'm sorry to say that, but people won't buy it. So when you're done writing your book and you want to market it out. In fact, before you don't write in your book, market, market, market. Carry your words on your head and market it around and show people what you do. Show people your skills. Let them get interested. These days, I normally get chats online. Some people come from America. They're like, "Are you done with your book? I would like to buy your book when you're done with your book." I'm not even done writing the book yet, and they're coming up to buy the book. And it's just like it really inspires me to see that that's happening, that this is happening. But it inspires me more because I put myself out there. I'm a very shy person normally. I'm an introvert, but like when I saw that introvert does not work, I took introvert aside. I started becoming more extrovert. Yeah, introvert they all go. So you have to learn. You have to. I know you may not want to be out there, but my dear, you have to just be out
Carry
there
your
because
hustle
this
on
is
your
what you
head.
have to do. Carry also. See, Zika Bob they carry also for your head. So does Obi Kubana. So that's the way you carry your also on your head. Put on your head like this and carry it around. Thank you.
Okay.
Make I carry my own for my head like this.
Okay. As well, I love the way we've concluded on this. So first thing is that we should learn marketing. That's the fourth thing I learned. The fourth thing I learned is that carry also on your head. Then the second thing is that we should not stop reading. We should not stop reading. Then I've forgotten the first one that Ije Gabriel said. What was the first one?
That's storytelling.
Okay,
Learn
yes. Learn story. Yes, learn storytelling.
And then,
so now,
sorry,
speaking of
one thing about
okay.
One thing about the reading aspect that Paul just mentioned is this. Now, don't streamline your reading. Now, as a writer, don't streamline your reading. It's because you write love stories and all you're reading and news and booms and all of that. Don't streamline it. That way, you're going to be changing yourself. All right? Read voraciously. Read wide. Read and read and read. Read everything that you can lay your hands on. All right, that's the best way you're going to be able to put all of the. You're going to be able to put all of those experiences into your own hustle. All right, because if you streamline,
so read.
You're also just streamlining your audience. You're also streamlining your audience.
And I must add also. I must add very importantly, you do not have to get it right in the first time. Like, for instance, if I look at the book I wrote in 2018, I'm just like, Jesus Christ, I'm not the one who wrote this nonsense. So my point is that you don't have to get it right the first time. I think a particular instrument, a particular Stephen King, he shared a particular message. It was like, writing takes you a little bit of 100,000 words to master your art. So keep on writing. The more you write, the more you learn. Yeah, when you write the first instance, you may not know those things very well, but the more you write, the more you take up with experience, in the next 5 years or 4 years or 3 years, somebody reads your article and the person is like, oh my goodness. But they don't know where you're coming from or where you started from. So you have to also put yourself out there, write more and write more and write more. It's going to help you a lot in the long run.
Okay, I want to share this video of Ekumeku that I want to share. I want to see how.
He shall bring no injury. The young boy shall live beyond the age of his father. He shall bring no shame to his household. He shall bring no injury to his community.
May the gods hear as if said it one name.
Agudike, the rivers of Amale has been desecrated. The Sinambogo has gone bonkers on treasures of the land to invite a stranger into our.
Your mouth will be the end of you someday, Uncle. You have incited blasphemy against the custodian of the gods just few minutes before the ritual hunt. To fear abomination.
the concern of the gods has brought in a strange child from the lands of Ubuluku and paraded her as the choice of the gods to succeed the shrine of Alosi Amale. In what history of Igbozo, Agudike tell me, has the gods picked a strange child from the faraway lands to represent the shrine? From all templates of Igbozo, Alosi Amale finds no worthy child to become the next Isunan Bogo. I say this all a bloody lie. Asiocha.
Listen, Onukube. Mind your tongue before it splits your head. The white fowl left. The same fowl is boiling in the pot of an old man seated in her kitchen, waiting for the chicken to occupy the space in her empty belly.
Agudike, are you inferring that I've become a white fowl who left the poultry to the market? The young boy shall live beyond the age of his father. He shall bring no shame to his household. He shall bring no injury to his community.
May the gods hear as you've said it to one name.
Agudike, the rivers of Amale has been distributed.
How interesting. How interesting. Now, and more interestingly, I'm I'm not much of a fiction person, but one thing I just like and love is when I see my friends doing work, and I try to, as much as possible and in the very little way I can, promote their stuff, because that's the only way we as writers can also encourage our community and encourage one another to continue doing things. So, and I'm so sure that that's your voice was also included in that stuff, right? Because I could hear your voice. Right? So now, conclusively, because I want us to finish this in next 3 minutes. So conclusively, how do you go about that? And is it also something you do yourself, or you contract that to a professional to do?
Like I said, I'm learning and I keep on learning.
Okay.
What I love doing is to learn. And that I did is, I don't think it's much of a too much work. In short, and Canva and other apps were able to do it for me. I was able to run through them, use some images I got, and then I run through them. But like I said, like I just love to learn about new things and how to develop my art. And I saw that video contents are very important for artists these days. People watch your videos. People love watching videos. So right now I'm putting up videos about promoting my book out there, so that once it comes out, people know about them.
Oh, that's so wonderful. That's so wonderful. So thank you so much again for the opportunity that I had to, we also was supposed to have another program back then, I think during the World Book, something that we couldn't do. So I'm very, very happy that at least finally we're able to have something to do together. And I know that there will still be more opportunities for us to work together. Sorry, our audience, that Nje Gabriel, I think, is out. I think maybe.
All right, guys. I think network is pretty bad. So thank you so much for having us in the show, Pachiti and Gabriel and me. It's been an impressive session with everybody. I hope you watch and I hope you have some things taken down. Remember, just write and you don't have to worry about a lot of things. Don't worry, it will improve. Your craft will improve. So thank you, Pachiti, for this opportunity. Thank you, Nje Gabriel. And God bless you all. Thank you.